I heard the door code being entered. I was sitting in the candlelight, dress on, wine poured, heart pounding. I'd spent 2 hours getting ready for this moment. The door opened, and Tyler walked in kissing someone. It took me 3 full seconds to recognize her face.
Oh my God.
Ashley, my best friend. The wine glass hit the floor before I'd decided to throw it. Chapter 1. The Setup. Megan and I had been friends since we were kids. The kind of friendship that survives moves, time zones, different life stages. The kind where you can go 3 months without talking and pick up exactly where you left off. She'd gotten married a few years back and settled in another city, but we stayed close in the way that matters. She had a younger brother, Jake, 8 years younger than us, which meant he'd been a kid when we were teenagers. The little brother who trailed after us, who we dragged along to things and then pretended to be annoyed by. I'd watched him grow up in pieces, the way you do with someone else's family member. Last time I'd properly seen him, he'd been 19 and leaving for the military. Then Megan called me.
Jake's moving to the city. He got a job, he's doing well, but I'm worried about him being alone somewhere new. You're the only person I trust up there. Can you keep an eye on him? Just dinner sometimes. Make sure he's eating.
Of course, I said.
I mean it, Sophie. He looks fine, but he doesn't always take care of himself. He won't tell me if something's wrong. He just quietly struggles, and I hate that.
I'll look after him, I promise.
You're the best, seriously. I don't trust anyone else with him.
When I showed up to meet them both for dinner, I was not prepared for Jake. The kid I remembered, lanky, awkward, always slightly in the way, had been replaced by someone who moved differently. Broader shoulders, quieter confidence. He stood up when I walked in, and I genuinely didn't recognize him for a second.
Hey, Sophie. It's been a while.
Jake? You look completely different.
Military and a gym membership. Apparently it works.
He smiled. The same smile I remembered, just on a face that had grown into it. Megan watched us with her arms crossed and a satisfied expression.
See, I told you he turned out fine. He never listens to me, but somehow he turned out fine anyway.
We had dinner. Jake was easy company. Quieter than I expected, more observant, the kind of person who listens more than he talks. By the end of the evening, I'd promised Megan I'd call him for dinner at least once a week. I meant it as a favor to her. Chapter 2. The Advice. Tyler and I had been together for almost 2 years. It had been good for most of it. Then, gradually, it wasn't. He got quieter, more distracted. The kind of distance that creeps in slowly enough that you keep telling yourself it's temporary, it's stress, it's nothing. I convinced myself I just needed to try harder. One evening, I called Jake. Can I ask you something weird?
Sure. How weird are we talking?
Like, what do you guys actually want? If a woman wanted to make things more exciting again, what would actually work? A pause.
Are you asking me this seriously right now?
I'm asking you this seriously right now.
Okay. Honestly, it's less about what you do and more about the atmosphere. If you're usually comfortable and low-key, go the opposite. Candles, dim lighting, something unexpected. Dress completely differently than you normally would. The contrast is what gets attention. It makes someone see you differently, even if they've stopped really looking.
That's actually really helpful.
Don't tell anyone I said that. I have a reputation to protect.
Your secret is safe with me.
And Sophie, whoever this is for, if he doesn't notice the effort, that's on him, not you. Remember that.
I thought about that last part longer than I intended. A few days later, I went to Tyler's apartment before he got home from work. I had a key. I let myself in, set up a room, candles, wine, the dress I'd bought specifically for this night. I'd done my makeup differently, worn my hair down. I sat in the candlelight and waited, with my heart doing the thing it does when you've put real effort into something and you're hoping it lands. I heard the door code. The door opened, and Tyler walked in with his mouth on someone else's. 3 seconds of not understanding. Then Ashley's face. My best friend Ashley, who I had called last week to talk about Tyler pulling away, who had listened and said all the right things and told me he'd come around. The wine glass hit the floor. The sound of it breaking made them both freeze. Tyler looked at me.
Sophie, why are you here? You didn't say you were coming. You should have.
Don't. Ashley opened her mouth. Don't, I said again. I picked up my bag. Walked out. Chapter 3. The Bar. I found a bar 3 blocks away and sat at the counter and ordered whiskey and tried to figure out what I was feeling. Humiliated was the clearest one. I'd spent 2 hours getting ready. I'd bought a dress. I'd taken Jake's advice about candles and atmosphere and trying something different. And I'd done all of it for a man who had been sleeping with my best friend. I looked at myself in the mirror behind the bar. Mascara slightly wrong, hair still done, dress that was supposed to be for someone who didn't deserve it. I called Jake.
Hey, what's up?
Are you busy right now?
No, Sophie, what's wrong? You sound...
Can you come? I'm at a bar on Maple. I don't want to be alone right now. A pause, brief.
I'll be there in 20 minutes.
He was there in 15. He sat down beside me, looked at the state of me, dress, makeup, second glass of whiskey, and didn't ask a single question. Just ordered a drink and sat there. That made me cry.
Hey, look at me. Tell me what happened.
I told him everything. Tyler, Ashley, the candles, the wine glass in pieces on the floor, the specific humiliation of sitting in the dark all dressed up while your boyfriend walked in with your best friend. He listened without interrupting, jaw tight. When I finished, he was quiet for a moment.
He's an idiot. I want to be completely clear about that. An actual world-class idiot.
I did everything you said. The candles, the dress, all of it.
I know. I can see that.
He looked at me directly.
And for what it's worth, you look incredible tonight. You look incredible, and he walked past you like you were furniture. And that is entirely his failure, not yours. You understand that, right?
You're just saying that to make me feel better.
Sophie, I am not just saying that.
The way he said it was different from comfort. I looked at him. He looked back. We had several more drinks. At some point, he walked me home. At some point after that, the evening went somewhere neither of us had planned for it to go, and neither of us stopped it. Afterward, we lay in the quiet of my apartment, city sounds filtering through the window, and Jake said,
I've liked you for a long time. Longer than I should probably admit out loud. I didn't say anything because of Megan, because of the years between us, because I kept telling myself it would make everything complicated and weird.
Jake.
I know it's a lot. I'm not asking you to decide anything tonight. I just need you to know that what happened wasn't nothing for me. It wasn't impulse or convenience. I've thought about you for a long time.
I was quiet for a moment. Then, it wasn't nothing for me either.
Yeah?
Yeah. He reached over and turned off the lamp, and neither of us said anything else for a while. Chapter 4. The Secret. We started meeting properly after that. Dinner, long walks, the specific ease of two people who already know each other well and are discovering that knowing each other translates into something more. Jake paid attention in the way that Tyler never had. Remembered small things, showed up when he said he would, asked follow-up questions about things I'd mentioned weeks earlier. The problem was Megan. She called every few days.
Has he been eating? He sounds thin on the phone somehow. Is that possible? Can someone sound thin?
He's fine. We had dinner on Tuesday. He ate plenty.
Good. You're literally saving his life. I hope you know that. Left to his own devices, he'd eat convenience store food until his body gave up.
I can hear you, Jake said from across the table.
Good, eat your vegetables.
I laughed in spite of myself.
Has he met anyone? He never tells me anything about his love life, and it drives me insane. I just want to know he's not lonely.
A pause. Not that I know of, I said carefully. Jake looked up from his food and raised one eyebrow. I turned slightly away from him.
Typical. He's so secretive. Okay, I'll let you go. You're the best, Sophie. Genuinely. Call me this weekend?
Of course. I hung up. Jake was looking at me with an expression that was half amused and half something more complicated.
Not that you know of?
What was I supposed to say?
Fair. He picked up his chopsticks. This is going to get harder to manage.
I know.
She's going to find out eventually. I'd rather she hear it from us, on our terms, when we're ready.
I know that too.
So?
So I'm not ready yet. Give me a little more time. He nodded. Didn't push. That was one of the things I kept coming back to. He made his point once, clearly, and then let me find my own way to it. Chapter 5. Megan's Visit. Megan came up to the city for a weekend. She was staying at Jake's place. Bigger than mine, she said, and she wanted to see how he'd set it up. She organized a dinner for the three of us on Saturday and spent the whole meal making comments about Jake's furniture choices and the suspicious cleanliness of his bathroom.
Someone is cleaning this place for you. I know your standards, and this is not your work.
I clean.
You absolutely do not clean. Not like this.
After dinner, Megan declared she was exhausted from the drive and disappeared into Jake's room. She'd taken his bed. He'd be on the couch. She kissed us both on the cheek and closed the door. Jake and I sat in the living room. The apartment was quiet.
She's probably asleep in 4 minutes. She always passes out immediately after a long drive.
We should be careful, I said.
Obviously.
We waited. 10 minutes passed. The light under the bedroom door went dark. I looked at Jake.
Come here, he said quietly.
Jake.
She's asleep.
She might not be.
Sophie, come here.
I moved to the couch beside him. What started as quiet conversation became something else. Carefully, slowly, with both of us hyper-aware of the bedroom door 10 feet away. Every sound felt amplified. The city outside, the hum of the refrigerator, the specific quality of silence from behind a closed door that might mean sleep or might not. We were 20 minutes in when it happened. The bedroom door handle moved. We separated so fast I nearly fell off the couch. Jake grabbed the remote. I grabbed my wine glass. By the time the door opened, we were sitting at opposite ends of the couch, television on, looking at the screen like two people who had absolutely been watching television for the past hour. Megan stood in the doorway, squinting against the light, hair messy from the pillow.
Sorry, I need water. Don't mind me.
She padded to the kitchen, filled a glass, drank half of it standing at the counter.
You two are such good friends. She said it with her back to us, looking out the kitchen window. It makes me really happy, you know, that you look after each other.
Neither of us said anything.
Okay, good night.
She went back to the bedroom. The door closed. Jake and I sat in complete silence for about 15 seconds. Then he looked at me.
I was close.
That was very close.
You okay?
My heart is going at about 200 beats a minute.
Mine too. He exhaled slowly. We should probably...
Yeah, I said. I should go. At the front door, he held it open and looked at me with an expression I'd come to recognize. The one that meant he had more to say and was choosing not to say it yet.
Text me when you get home.
I will.
Sophie.
Yeah?
This is worth it. Whatever complicated thing comes next, this is worth it to me. I just want you to know that.
I stepped into the hallway, looked back at him. Good night, Jake. He smiled. Closed the door. I stood in the hallway for a moment, listening to my own heartbeat slowly return to normal. Then I took the elevator down. Chapter 6. Still going. 2 months now. We haven't told Megan. Every time I think about doing it, I hear her voice. You're literally the best. I don't know what I'd do without you. And I put it off another week. Jake thinks we should tell her.
She's going to find out. It's just a matter of when and how. And I'd rather it be us telling her than her figuring it out and feeling like we've been hiding it the whole time.
We have been hiding it the whole time.
Yeah, but there's a difference between keeping something private until you're ready and actively deceiving someone you love.
That's a very fine line.
I know, but I think we're getting close to crossing it.
He's not wrong. I know he's not wrong. Tyler texted once, about 3 weeks after everything. An apology, mostly, with some blame folded into it. I read it once and deleted it. Ashley, I haven't spoken to since that night. Some things don't have a clean resolution. Some things you just carry forward and figure out as you go. What I know is this. I dressed up for someone who didn't see me. And the person who showed up in 15 minutes when everything fell apart turned out to be someone worth every complicated thing that comes with him. Whether Megan sees it that way, that conversation is coming. I just haven't found the words yet. That's where this story ends. Thank you for listening. If this one stayed with you, subscribe, leave a like, and turn on notifications. See you in the next one.